definitely beat.
Alright, I'm back with another video, and then after that, I gotta get going. But what is up, y'all? It is K-Rod here. I'm back with another good video for y'all today. I wanted to, whatchamacallit, talk about, uh, Mr. Canelo Alvarez, turning down a $100 million fight deal offer to potentially face Errol Spence, David Benavidez, and Jamal Charlo. So yeah, let's get right to it. This is a very interesting story that I heard the other day, and for those of you that were trying to talk all that shit to try to say, oh, Canelo, he was never offered that deal, blah blah blah, and for some weird ass reason, Canelo Alvarez fans want to say that Canelo he would beat he would beat the shit out of he would beat the shit out of all three of Charlo, Benavidez, and Errol Spence. Well, my response is, well, just prove it. At the end of the day, Canelo Alvarez is still Canelo Alvarez, but still, like Canelo understands that if he can beat these guys, he should easily fight them, and he should prove it in the ring. But obviously, he doesn't want to prove it, and I'm probably going to be shitting on him in this video. So yeah, let's get right to it. So for those of you that don't know, Canelo he was offered a $100 million deal through Showtime PBC. Through obviously Steven Espinoza and Tom Brown through TGB Promotions. But from what I've heard, Canelo was basically given the opportunity. Allegedly, he was allegedly or potentially given the opportunity to face a three-fight deal facing Errol Spence, David Benavidez, and Jamal Charlo. So basically, the thing was is that if Canelo Alvarez wanted to go that route, he would basically end up facing probably Jamal Charlo, and then after that facing David Benavidez, and then facing Errol Spence, probably for his third and final fight. Because, logically speaking, that would make a lot better sense for Canelo to be facing Charlo, Benavidez, and then EJ, because facing EJ right away, that doesn't really give him any time to get ready and prepare. And I mean, Errol Spence, he should at least get used to fighting at 168. But as far as what I heard, him and EJ would have been a catch weight anyway. So either way, I think Errol Spence obviously would have been fine, because it doesn't really matter how big he's really coming in to face Canelo. But um, as far as the potential match itself, I would definitely assume that the catch weight would be there, and then whatever the rehydration clause would be, to which I don't really think the rehydration clause would ever matter, because it's not like Errol Spence is actually small compared to Canelo. I mean, Canelo is technically the smaller man, and I don't really see Errol Spence having that much difficulty facing Canelo. But then again, I personally think that to me, as from a fan perspective, I would like to see Canelo face Errol Spence when Errol Spence has everything put together with his undisputed run against Terrence Crawford, and then on top of that, he's able to prioritize himself, in the division, leading up to a Canelo Alvarez fight. So I think Errol Spence, he would obviously face Canelo, but the thing is that when you are at a position to which you don't really have that many options laid in front of you, you obviously want to go to the to the offers that obviously make the most make the most the most the ah shit the most money and the most financial gain. And I think the biggest issue with Canelo and Spence is that the fight will definitely sell, but the issue is that Canelo, he needs to understand that Errol Spence, he's not really coming into this deal to just say that I'm going to fight you right away. He would rather fight, Canelo when everything is all settled with him making his way to 168, the right way. So I personally think Errol will very well do his thing to fight Canelo, but he's not going to fight him like right off of what the gates. And I think that's what a lot of Canelo Alvarez's fans want to happen. They want to see Errol Spence get beat by Canelo, in a particular sense of him not being acclimated to the weight, and then he could just get beat up and defeated, and then Canelo can use that as political leverage to say, "Oh, well, I beat Errol Spence, and Errol Spence, he got what he deserved, blah blah blah." So, I mean, a lot of people would, obviously try to play that, out to try to say Canelo, he beat the best in Errol Spence and all this nonsensical bullshit. But it's like, Errol Spence is not going to let Canelo try to screw him over. Obviously for me, I personally wouldn't want to see that because I think Canelo, he's definitely going to come in, with a chip on his shoulder to try to make sure that Errol Spence is not going to have any advantages over him. But I think at the end of the day, facing EJ is still a question mark because we wouldn't know how much power EJ can carry to the super middleweight division. But then again, Errol Spence, he does walk around at 160 before he cuts down to 147. So I don't think Errol Spence will have that much of a problem fighting Canelo. That's just my personal opinion. But the problem that I have is just that Canelo, he wants Errol Spence to basically come at a weight to which he wants him to face him right away. And that's what, his, stupid fans want Errol to do, knowing that when he moved up in weight, he at least, took some, medium difficulty fights so that way he can get, acclimated to the weight. So I would say a good fight for Errol Spence to be acclimated to the weight. I mean, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to throw Errol throw EJ to the lions, right away, but I personally think Errol Spence, he should face top three super middleweight or top five. But I wouldn't mind seeing a fight between maybe him and Ronald Ellis, him and Caleb Plant. That's a great ass fight. Um, I'm not too sure about Anthony Durrell. I don't think Anthony Durrell would be a good fight. Danny Jacobs, that's a good style matchup. And oh man, I wouldn't mind seeing. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing a David Morrell fight. I think EJ would give Morrell, a lot of problems, and he would very well have the ability to knock him out. But I mean, I think honestly, to make the most financial sense, I think a fight with Ronald Ellis would be a good fight because Errol Spence, he can get acclimated to 168. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but let's just say if he wants to go up to 168, if he can't get the fight with Crawford for undisputed, in which that would obviously piss us all off, but if I'm Errol Spence, I would like to make the fight with Canelo if the fight itself were to be made after Errol went up to after he went up to super middleweight, got himself a tune-up fight, and then he can face Canelo. Because if he moves up to 154 and he wants to challenge Jermell Charlo's belts, I don't think Jermell Charlo, he's gonna be that type of guy to give up his undisputed straps like I'm just saying theoretically, if Jermell Charlo were to win in this rematch against Brian Castano, to which I personally believe Jermell Charlo, he has the ability to beat Brian Castano, but the problem is that Brian Castano, he could very well upset, Jermell Charlo, because I still believe Jermell Charlo still has a bad style to beat Brian Castano, but the biggest issue is just that knowing how these judges are, um, leading into a undisputed rematch, I just don't see Jermell Charlo being treated well, on the cards. But I think if he listens to Derek James and he outboxes the shit out of Brian Castano and he actually hurts him and tries to knock him out. I think he could very well win it. It's just that Jermell Charlo, he needs to go in with like a really deadly mindset, and he has to, dominate him. He really needs to beat him. He cannot let Brian Castano get any, confidence and momentum. So I think personally, Jermell Charlo will very well likely win the rematch next weekend. But from EJ's perspective, he would personally like to face Jermell Charlo for undisputed if he had it his way. But obviously, he wants to get undisputed at 147 first, and then he can go after 154. Or, if he really wants to, he can just go up to super middleweight, fight Canelo, because I'm sure Canelo he'll fight him. But then again, Canelo turned that offer down, so that's why that I'm kind of talking about that particular offer being turned down, because he turned down more money for less money. So that's pretty stupid and pretty retarded out of Canelo's mindset, because even though Canelo he is fighting tomorrow and the weigh-ins are today between him and Dimitri Bivol. Um, I mean, personally, I'm not really against the fight itself, but it's like Canelo he doesn't really have that much to really gain fighting Bivol other than just get a belt and then face let the winner of Artur Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. So I don't know, man. Like I think honestly, Canelo he has like a lot to learn, from this particular situation, because Canelo could have easily fought Jermall Charlo, David Benavidez, and Errol Spence, but the fact that you turned down more money to fight them, that's just really sad, because it's like, from what I heard, Jermall Charlo was going to be 45 million, and then he was offered a 55 million deal to fight Errol Spence at 164 catchweight, or David Benavidez, for his undisputed titles. And I mean, honestly, that's just sad. You would just turn down like more money, and you would take a less money offer, to which DAZN will easily give him a crap load of money. But guess what? You DAZN fans, or quote unquote Canelo Alvarez fan dick riders, you guys are gonna have to pay money for his pay per view. To which I don't see anybody paying for his pay per view, and I'm pretty sure the pay per view numbers, they're gonna do shit, because it's like, Canelo is fighting a no name in Dimitri Bivol, and Dimitri Bivol he's never fought on pay per view, so he's in that same boat with Caleb Plant, where he doesn't have that much of a name and that much of a backing. And I mean, it's just very sad. Like I don't really know how to really explain it, but it's just like, at the end of the day, it's just like Canelo he has so much to really think about, because after you do beat, well, let's just say if he does beat Bivol, which I think that's going to be a very tough task to do, I just don't see why Canelo would not want to try to go get a fight with Errol Spence or Charlo or Benavidez, because like that's obviously all the fights that everybody wants you to fight, and it's like, Canelo he's just really just screwing himself over, man. It's just like, I mean, people want to say, oh well, like you just hating, blah blah blah, and it's like, I'm not fucking hating. I'm just speaking I'm just speaking the facts that Canelo Alvarez turned down his biggest, deal offer ever, to the point where he doesn't he doesn't even want to be great. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but at the end of the day, people will look at you as a duck more, more often, than they'll look at you as a legend, because it's like, no matter what the fuck, Canelo does for the rest of his career, people will go back to these potential fights that could have been made, and then they're going to say, "Wow, man, Canelo should have fought this guy. He should have fought that guy, right? He should have fought, all these big names that everybody wanted him to, wanted him to fight." And at the end of the day, he just chose not to do it. And I mean, that's just very sad, because it's like, dude, you had so many opportunities to fight everybody, and yet you throw that into the trash. That just makes you look like a pussy. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, because you just honestly, Canelo should just be honest, just to say, look, I know, me myself, I can't really beat the best, and just be honest with it. These guys are too good, and I mean, my style cannot compete with their style. But then again, if you can't beat these guys, why would you still stay at a division that you know you cannot unify to be the best? So, I mean, at the end of the day, Canelo, he has, more to lose rather than to gain, and I think his fans will start to understand that. And I mean, obviously, all the dumbass casuals will be stupid, enough to, support his decision making. But still, it's just like, Canelo, he's just putting himself in a bad position, to the point where he's not really making himself look a lot better. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I have to say. I just wanted to kind of just talk about that, and just give my own personal thoughts, because I do want to say Canelo, he can be a good fighter still. But I mean, the strategic ducking that he's been doing lately, it's just like, I just knew from, from my own perspective, Canelo, he does not want to be the best, and he knows he cannot beat the best, because he knows he is not the best fighter in the world. And then on top of that, if you call yourself pound for pound number one, but yet you still have to make up excuses to not fight these guys, you try saying oh, well, these guys, they need to fight each other instead of fighting me. Nah, man, get the fuck out of here. If you call yourself the best, you beat everybody out, and you clean out your fucking division, because it's like, Canelo knows what he's doing is wrong, but yet he still continues to do it, because Canelo, he does not have that good, confidence in himself to actually, be up there. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Canelo, he's screwing up his career as a fighter, and he knows what he's doing is very wrong. So, I mean, Canelo, he's only 31 years old. He'll be 32 in July, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, that's good. Credit to him, but at the end of the day, Canelo, he's not the greatest fighter in the world. After what he just basically did, he's obviously proving to you that he will very well take a less money offer deal to fight European bred fighters versus fighting black American or Hispanic talent, to the point where, these are 50-50 level fights. And I mean, honestly, I personally wish, Canelo actually had, the fucking balls to actually, fight the best. But it's like, to me, that's just very sad. That's just sad to the point that, Canelo will basically sacrifice anything in the world to fight lesser level opposition that he knows he can beat. Because he knows, ever since he lost to Floyd Mayweather, that had given him so many, mental disparities. And I mean, it shows. It shows, every time that he sees a black fighter do very, very well, he gets so jealous. He gets so, angry. He gets so, like, discouraged. And I mean, like, honestly, like, I don't really blame him, because it's like Canelo, like, if he didn't really care so much about losing to like two black American talent, or just anybody that is a bad style matchup to him, he would fight everybody. And I mean, that's something, like, that's something that I would have praised Canelo for. I would have said, yo, you know what? Like, if you didn't cheat and you just basically fought everybody, I would have given Canelo all the praise, in the world. And I would have been like, Canelo, I actually do fuck with you. Like, you are such a good vet, such a good fighter, and you completed your legacy to fight everybody. And basically, he would have been viewed, as a people's champion. And I mean, he's, not even doing that, because it's like, he's just strategically ducking, all the top elite talent. So, I mean, either way, Canelo, he has a lot of work to do. And I mean, whatever he chooses to do, I mean, he can easily, very well, just unify for undisputed at 175. And then I would say after that, like, what? You're going to go down and face Triple G within that process, in which obviously no one's not going to give two shits about him and Triple G. That's going to be like a one, like, I probably say a 1 round knockout in like what, like 1 or 2 minutes. But still, it's just like, Canelo knows like what he's doing is wrong. And I mean, I would hope that he would have like the, bare minimum, common sense to think like what he's doing isn't really selling out to his audience, and nobody doesn't give two shits. Because I mean, even if he faces, Arthur Benavidez for undisputed on top rank, that's not gonna do any pay per view numbers. I'm sorry, no one gives two shits about that fight, and no one's not going to care. And I think even if Canelo still fights on pay per view, those pay per view numbers are going to be trash. And Canelo, he's basically fine with it. And his stupid fans are fine with it as well. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I have to say. If you guys have anything to say to me, please let me know. And I would like to, get like your thoughts and get your insight. But anyways, today is the weigh-in for Canelo Alvarez and Dimitri Bivol. So be sure to be on the lookout for that, and I will give like my thoughts on how I see Canelo at 175. I think Canelo, he's gonna do well, but at the same token, I think Bivol, he's gonna be a really difficult style matchup, and I don't think Canelo is going to, have the confidence to actually really do what he says he's going to do to Bivol, because I think Bivol, he's coming in to actually demolish Canelo. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Canelo is going to have like an easy night with Bivol, or do you think it's going to be a really, really hard, difficult night? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Be sure to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Today's Friday, so I will be having my last day at work today, and then I will be back gaming on League of Legends and probably Xenoverse 2 if anybody is online. And I mean, like, once I get like my channel up, and I probably have like a bigger fan base, I will definitely have like more people come on and probably just play online with me. So yeah, be sure to let me know, man. I'd like to, get your insight on this, and yeah, I would definitely like to, like, talk to you guys. So yeah, how about I, finish off with the video by trying to get Canelo Alvarez knocked out. This is how David Benavidez will knock out Canelo Alvarez in real life. So hold on. Yeah, 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 yeah. Get the fuck out of here, Canelo. Yeah, fuck Canelo. Please get knocked out. Please get knocked out. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright. I gotta get going to work, but anyways, thank you guys for watching the video. This is KRAT7435. I'm signing out, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.